There is a place in this world where the streets are made of water, where gondolas glide silently beneath ancient stone bridges, and where every corner you turn feels like stepping into a painting that has been alive for centuries. Venice, the floating city of northeastern Italy, is unlike anywhere else on the planet. Built across 118 small islands separated by canals and connected by over 400 bridges, this city defies logic and rewards curiosity in equal measure. It sits in the middle of a lagoon in the Adriatic Sea, and yet it has stood for over 1,000 years, surviving floods, wars, and the relentless passage of time. The moment you step off the train or arrive by boat and catch your first glimpse of the Grand Canal stretching out before you, something shifts inside you. The noise of the modern world fades away, replaced by the gentle lapping of water against ancient walls, the distant call of a gondolier, and the soft echo of footsteps on cobblestone paths. Venice does not just invite you to visit, it pulls you in, wraps itself around you, and refuses to let go easily. Whether you are a history lover, a food enthusiast, an architecture admirer, or simply someone searching for beauty in its most concentrated form, Venice delivers on every single promise. This city is a living, breathing masterpiece, and exploring it is one of the most extraordinary experiences a traveler can have anywhere in the world. The heart of Venice beats loudest at Piazza San Marco, known in English as St. Mark's Square. This magnificent open space has served as the city's central gathering point for over 1,000 years, and standing in it for the first time is genuinely overwhelming. Surrounding you on all sides are some of the most breathtaking examples of Byzantine and Gothic architecture ever constructed. The Procurati Vecchi and Procurati Nuove line the northern and southern edges of the square, their long arcaded facades housing elegant cafes and boutiques that have welcomed visitors for centuries. At the far end of the square rises the Basilica di San Marco, one of the most stunning churches in the entire world. Its exterior is a dazzling mosaic of golden domes, intricate carvings, and colorful marble that seems to shimmer in the Venetian light. Step inside, and the experience becomes even more extraordinary. The interior is covered in over 8,000 square meters of golden mosaics depicting biblical scenes, saints, and stories from the life of Saint Mark himself. The floors are made of inlaid marble and glass, and the overall effect is one of overwhelming, sacred beauty. Adjacent to the basilica stands the Campanile, the iconic bell tower that offers panoramic views across the entire city and lagoon. Taking the elevator to the top and looking out over the terracotta rooftops, shimmering canals, and distant islands is an experience that stays with you long after you have returned home. St. Mark's Square is not just a tourist attraction. It is the soul of Venice made visible. No visit to Venice is complete without spending meaningful time on the water, and the Grand Canal is the perfect place to begin. Stretching nearly 4 kilometers through the heart of the city in a wide reverse S shape, the Grand Canal is Venice's main artery, lined on both sides with over 170 palaces and grand buildings that date back to the 12th through 18th centuries. Taking a vaporetto, which is the local water bus, along the full length of the canal is one of the most scenic journeys you can take anywhere in Europe. As you drift past the Cadoro, the Palazzo Grassi, and the Rialto Bridge, you begin to understand the extraordinary wealth and artistic ambition that shaped this city over the centuries. The Rialto Bridge itself is one of Venice's most iconic landmarks, a single arched stone bridge lined with small shops that has spanned the Grand Canal since 1588. But Venice's magic is not confined to its main waterway. The real soul of the city lives in its smaller canals, known as rii, and the narrow pedestrian paths called calli that wind between them. Getting deliberately lost in the quieter neighborhoods of Cannaregio, Dorsoduro, or Castello reveals a Venice that feels intimate and authentic. You discover tiny squares where local children play, neighborhood bakeries with warm bread cooling in the windows, and small bridges over still green canals where laundry hangs between ancient buildings. This is the Venice that belongs to the people who live there, and it is just as beautiful as the famous landmarks. Standing at the edge of St. Mark's Square, directly beside the Basilica and facing the lagoon, is the Palazzo Ducale, or Doge's Palace. This extraordinary building served as the center of Venetian political power for nearly 1,000 years, housing the residence of the Doge, the supreme leader of the Venetian Republic, as well as the government chambers, courts of law, and the infamous prison. The exterior of the palace is a masterpiece of Gothic architecture, with its distinctive pink and white diamond-patterned marble facade and the delicate open loggia that runs along the ground floor. Inside, the rooms are filled with enormous paintings by Tintoretto, Veronese, and other masters of the Venetian school. The Sala del Maggior Concilio, or Hall of the Great Council, is particularly jaw-dropping, featuring Tintoretto's Paradise, one of the largest oil paintings in the world, covering an entire wall. The palace also connects to the prison via the famous Bridge of Sighs, a covered limestone bridge through which condemned prisoners would walk, catching their last glimpse of the beautiful city through the small barred windows before entering their cells. Lord Byron gave the bridge its romantic name, imagining the sighs of prisoners as they crossed it. Touring the Doge's Palace gives you a profound sense of Venice's extraordinary history as an independent republic that dominated Mediterranean trade and culture for over 1,000 years. It is a history of ambition, art, commerce, and power, all preserved within these remarkable walls. Venice is not just one island, but a collection of many, and venturing out to the surrounding islands of the lagoon reveals entirely different dimensions of this remarkable place. Murano, located just a short vaporetto ride from the main city, has been the center of Venetian glassmaking since 1291, when the Republic ordered all glassmakers to move their furnaces there to reduce the risk of fire in Venice itself. Today, you can visit working glass factories and watch master artisans transform molten glass into breathtaking sculptures, vases, and chandeliers using techniques passed down through generations. Purchasing a piece of authentic Murano glass is one of the most meaningful souvenirs you can bring home from Venice. Murano, further out in the lagoon, is famous for two things: its extraordinarily colorful houses and its centuries-old tradition of lace making. Walking through Murano feels like stepping into a dream painted in vivid pinks, blues, yellows, and greens. The island's lace tradition dates back to the 16th century, and the Museo del Merletto, or Lace Museum, documents this remarkable craft in beautiful detail. Torcello, the most remote of the three islands, offers a quieter, more contemplative experience. Once a thriving settlement that predated Venice itself, Torcello is now largely uninhabited, home to a stunning 7th century cathedral and a haunting sense of history reclaimed by nature. Venice feeds the soul through its beauty, but it also feeds the body through one of Italy's most distinctive and celebrated regional cuisines. Venetian food is deeply shaped by the city's history as a maritime trading power and its unique geography surrounded by water and lagoon. Seafood is absolutely central to the Venetian table, and nowhere is this more evident than at the Rialto market, where fishermen and vendors have been selling the morning's catch since the 11th century. Sarde in Saor is one of the oldest and most beloved Venetian dishes, consisting of fried sardines marinated in a sweet and sour sauce made with onions, vinegar, raisins, and pine nuts. The combination sounds unusual but tastes extraordinary, a perfect balance of flavors that reflects Venice's ancient spice trade connections. Baccalà mantecato, a creamy whipped salt cod served on grilled polenta or crostini, is another essential taste of the city, found in nearly every baccaro, which is the Venetian word for a traditional wine bar. These small, informal establishments are where locals gather to drink ombra, a small glass of wine, and snack on cicchetti, which are Venetian-style tapas. Cicchetti might include tiny sandwiches, marinated vegetables, fried seafood, or creamy spreads, and eating your way through several Baccari in an evening is one of the most enjoyable ways to experience authentic Venetian social life. Risotto al Nero di Seppia, a striking black risotto made with cuttlefish and its ink, is dramatic in appearance and deeply savory in flavor. Bigoli in salsa, thick whole wheat pasta served with a sauce of anchovies and onions, is simple, humble, and utterly satisfying. For dessert, the classic Venetian frittelle, deep-fried donuts filled with cream or raisins, are traditionally eaten during Carnival but available year-round in good pasticcerie. And of course, no visit to Venice is complete without a scoop of gelato enjoyed while sitting on the steps of a quiet bridge, watching the water move beneath you and feeling, just for a moment, that you have found one of the most beautiful places on our earth.